Hello everyone, my name is Fireball Jack, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about the DPS side of matchups against the Thing, or more in simple terms, how the Thing matches up compared to most DPS, or all the DPS in this game. So, again, this is coming from a Thing who is a Grandmaster at the moment. And this is just my personal opinion of where I feel, or how I feel, the Thing matches up compared to most DPS. Now, I'm going to say something, I don't think it's very controversial at the start. I think most DPS in this game are very strong, very good, very busted. But let's start into it, okay? So, let's start out. Now, if you watched my previous video, we have a couple tiers here. We have the Thing. We have counter-picking you, soft counter, annoying to deal with, mostly even, easy to deal with, and a tomato can. So let me explain exactly what I mean. So when they're counter-picking you, these characters tend to be really good against you and really hard to win, or really hard to fight. The only way you really win this fight is by getting a really good drop on them, or having a solid team, or just very good circumstances. You're at a disadvantage most of the time. A soft counter means they're not inherently fully counterpicking you. They might just have one or two things that are, better than you, or just have slightly better stats or slightly better things against you. Annoying to deal with is kind of hard because these tend to be outliers. They might be really easy to kill, but really hard to get to, or things like that. Then we have mostly even, where it's a pretty even matchup. We have easy to deal with, which, of course, means it's just easy to deal with them. And then we have a tomato can. A tomato can is someone that is laughably easy, someone you should be able to beat easily, or completely ignore any of their pressure. So, let's get into it. So first, let's get to the top. Counterpicking you. It's no surprise. Hela. Hela and a Hawkeye. So we're going to start with Hela first. Hela is very strong. She's almost always going to be very strong against you. She's a poke character. She is almost always at long range, meaning it's always going to be very hard to get to her, because remember, you're not just fighting a 1v1 most of the time. You're fighting a 6v6. And Hela is always going to be able to take tons of pot shots at you before you even get close. It's no surprise. Not only that, but if she ever does see you coming, or you break the front line and get to her, she can just use her mobility option and disappear, and she's completely invulnerable, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, her stun really doesn't do anything against you, but she still has a great option. She still deals massive damage at all ranges. She has multiple little spears that can stick to you and then blow you up. So even if you kill her, if she lands those, it might end up killing you. It's happened a couple times. Just a hard matchup to deal with. The only thing I have as the Thing is try to be very mindful of choke points, line of sight of her. So anything that has a good sniper spot, watch out for her. Try to move, sporadically. Not where you're losing any distance or space, but, play around cover, because if you ever see her, it's going to be really hard to deal with her. Now next, Hawkeye. Now I feel like Hawkeye is basically the same problem, but slightly different. Different font. So what am I talking about? Hela does lots of damage, but Hawkeye does even more damage. Now, Hela has a better escape option, but Hawkeye doesn't. So you're kind of trading for more damage with Hawkeye with less survivability, or less damage but more survivability with Hela. So let me explain. Hela does do quite good damage, like I said. It just takes a couple shots to the head and you're basically done. But Hawkeye can charge up that arrow and basically throw a 400, pound bus at your forehead. And as a Thing, that's a big issue. It takes 2 headshots fully charged and 1 uncharged body shot to kill you, as if you're fighting against Hawkeye. It is very annoying to deal with a Hawkeye who knows what he's doing. I still feel like Hawkeye and Hela are both still very strong. Low-key, or not even low-key broken, just very strong. But if you do get the jump on Hawkeye, while he only has his jump away, his slash does not stop you, it does not push you back, meaning that if you get the jump on Hawkeye, you're probably going to secure that kill because he just won't be able to do anything. It takes a little too long for him to charge up a full shot, and if you're moving, sporadically and hard to hit, it's going to be hard for him to finish that combo, or at least finish that headshot. But anyways, that's kind of the top two. Alright. Next we have Wolverine. Now, Wolverine does not have the ability to kidnap you as the thing. He cannot walk up to you and grab you and throw you into the enemy team. If Wolverine does that, you both hit each other and the thing will fall to the ground. So, it's kind of like the ending of the animation. So instead of getting pushed or moved, you just hit the ground. Now, that is still really bad for the thing because you cannot box Wolverine. Wolverine will always outdamage you. It is very hard to outdamage Wolverine. So even though you're not getting jumped and pushed into the enemy line, Wolverine is someone that you have to be very, very aware with. Now, one good thing and why I put Wolverine lower is because Wolverine's ultimate does not affect you. Unless Wolverine lands on you, so he slashes up and then lands straight on you, you do not get stunned. You do not get knocked up into the air, meaning that Wolverine's ultimate is kind of worthless against you. It still deals the damage, but without the ability to kidnap you, the only thing Wolverine can really do is just brawl with you. And while he'll win that brawl most of the time, if you have a healer or any other teammate, you should be able to clean up Wolverine pretty fast. But he's still counterpicking you. You're a tank. Wolverine shred tanks. We know this already. Next, we have the three flyers. Now, I'm going to go them all together because I feel like I don't see them enough, but just enough to matter to put on this list. So, flying characters. Well, they're flying characters. The Thing does not have any ranged abilities. Unlike the Hulk who can, try to exile them or clap his hands, there's nothing you can do. If they're out of range, that sucks. That's not your job. There's nothing you can do. You've got to cry about it. Iron Man, I think, is the strongest with his Unibeam. With his Unibeam, he can basically just slightly stay out of range, and you can never hit him. But with the recent buffs, his Unibeam is going to really, really, really melt you. And it's going to be really annoying because you're going to see him. You know he's there. He knows he's there cooking you. But unless your teammates turn on their monitor, it's really hard to kill Iron Man. Now, this is Grandmaster. I understand that Grandmaster isn't the apex of skill. So, like I said, I think if someone chooses Iron Man, they are low-key countering. They're counterpicking you. They are going to play a DPS that you cannot jump on or fight against, really. Next is Storm. Storm has the same thing, except without Unibeam. Now, Storm can sometimes be a little bit easier to kill because she's a bit more of a supportive one, meaning that bubble around her needs to be closer to her team, meaning there's a couple times where you might have the ability to smack her out of the sky if possible, but it's the same thing. She deals really good damage, her ultimate is really good. It's Storm. We know Storm is strong, especially now with the new Human Torch team up. It's Storm. She's a strong pick at any point, and she will still do massive damage to you if you're not paying attention. Next, we have Human Torch. Now, I have actually not seen a lot of Human Torches in Grandmaster. I'm not sure why. I don't think Human Torch is broken from what I've played and what I've seen. I think he's strong, but I don't think he's not like the Apex Predator or the brand new, Smasher Teeman type of character. Now, of course, like I said, I haven't seen him a lot. I don't see him work very often because I think he needs a very specific comp to work. But anyways, let's go into it. So Johnny, Same issue. He's in the air. He's going to be normally farther away than Iron Man or Storm, or sometimes he's at the same range at about Iron Man. Still out of your range, meaning you can't really do anything. But there's not much you can do. He's flying in the air. He's pelting you with fireballs. I mean, he can put the traps on the ground, but again, it's not your job. You can't take flyers out. So whenever you do see a flyer or you see someone switch to a flyer, just know that you're probably just doing enough damage or enough of like crowd control that any other DPS had to switch to do something about you. So yeah, because I mean, if you have a good team or a good Punisher or anything like that, you could ground the flyers, right? Don't get me wrong. But normally they switch. I've seen a lot of games where, someone's playing Punisher and, I start cooking them a little bit, or maybe my team's helping me cook a lot, and then they suddenly switch to Iron Man and then start shredding me, and it just becomes a really big issue without a shield. Anyways, next is Black Widow. Now, Black Widow, let me cook. I know this might sound like a really bad take, but Black Widow is the same issue as Hela and Hawkeye, but not broken. Let me explain, okay? Let me cook. Hela and Hawkeye are almost always going to be in the back. Now, Hawkeye tends to be a little bit more forward. I don't know if that's just because the way his charging bow works, or maybe just the way people like to play Hawkeye. But Hela tends to be farther back than Hawkeye, but they're still almost always behind the tanks, kind of near the supports, far enough away to deal their good damage. Black Widow is the same issue. It's really hard to catch her or do anything to her because she'll just take pot shot after pot shot, while you can't really hit her. Again, I've never seen a very good Black Widow in my games. I think I've seen one in my entire time. But Black Widow still has that issue where even though she's not good, and she's not great, and she's not really good, and not really worth it on a team, she's still counterpicking you. She's playing a sniper, she's playing long range, and you're a low range character. You're in here, you're boxing, and she's brought a gun. And it's just a bigger issue because she's a sniper. If you see the top, the entire counterpicking list, it's Hela, sniper. Hawkeye, sniper. Wolverine, tank buster. Iron Man, Storm, Human Torch, flying characters, out of your range. Black Widow, sniper. The way they counterpick you is by choosing poke characters. Things that can poke you from a distance while being safe. Something that you can't ever really deal with. The only one here that you can deal with, quote unquote, right, is Wolverine, who's going to be jumping into you. But even then, it's really hard to fight Wolverine as the thing. But I hope you understand. Those are my thoughts on the counterpicking you. There's quite a few. Now we have soft counters. Now soft counters are also still really strong. You're going to have trouble fighting these characters, but it's still possible to win. So unlike counterpicking where it's really hard to win, soft counters, there's a good chance you could win. So we have Bucky. Bucky, I still think, is the strongest character in the game. By far. He is the strongest character in this game. He has great damage. He has great cooldowns. He can just do it all. His ultimate is good. He's great. He's great in this game. But against the Thing, he struggles just a little bit. Let me explain why. So, he still has high damage. He still has pretty damn good cooldowns. But his uppercut only really deals damage to the Thing. It does not hard CC people like anyone else. If Bucky tries to pull you in, it doesn't pull you in either. Bucky still gets that 1 second stun where you got hit by the grapple hook and you take a little second where you're stunned, but that's it. He doesn't pull you in or out of position. He can't uppercut you to hard CC you. All he can really do is just deal the damage. I still think Bucky is really, really strong against the Thing because, I mean, if you see Bucky's headshot damage, it's crazy. But you do shut down some of his most powerful things. Unlike any other tank, the Thing never has to worry about getting pulled out of position. The Thing never has to worry about hard CC into a really annoying headshot. So, overall, while still high damage and the ability to stun you, which is important, the Thing, remember, in my last tier list I talked about, anything that can immobilize you, stun you, or kind of make you helpless like a Groot wall, is going to be really good because you don't have the ability to defend yourself. So, let's get to the next one. Star-Lord. Now, Star-Lord is kind of Bucky, but slightly different. So, or I guess it's like Bucky, but on the opposite side of the coin. Star-Lord has really high damage, and he's basically a flying character, except he's grounded. Meaning, whenever you do try to push Star-Lord, it's not hard for him to get away. With his invincible, His invincible flips, high damage, and the ability to just rocket boost away, it's really hard to fight Star-Lord is the thing. His rocket boots move faster than you, and he can go up and down, unlike you, who can only go, when you're dashing forward. He has great damage. His ultimate is really strong. Not as strong as Bucky, in my opinion. But it's still a strong character. You try to hit him, maybe, you're coming in with your charge, and you're about to ground him. He flips out. Whoops, he's invincible. And now he can just fly away because he's not in your grounded state. So yeah, he kind of counters you because it's really hard to catch up with Star-Lord. Let's get to the next character. Now, these two characters, also hear me out. I know it looks weird. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially to some players, but hear me out. Squirrel Girl. Now, Squirrel Girl, I have seen a lot more often in my games. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just people want to play a Squirrel Girl. I don't know. But Squirrel Girl is a soft counter. And it is because one move, well, more like two things, really. One, Squirrel Girl never really has to engage with you. She is basically a poke character. She can just keep slinging acorns at your face and you can't really do anything. And she has a good escape option with her super jump. It doesn't go very far, but it goes really high, meaning she can get to higher ground and you can't keep up with that. She also has the ability to refresh her cooldown, so she could jump, refresh, jump away. So she's never in any big problem compared to you. But the most important thing, and the only reason I really put her up here instead of annoying to deal with, is her stun. If she stuns you and her team can back it up, you might as well pack it up. There is almost nothing you can do as the Thing. The only thing you can do as the Thing in this context is run at her. His sprint does allow him to be immune to CC. That's very important. When I'm fighting a Squirrel Girl and I have not seen her throw her stun out, I am going to try and use my dash kind of like a shield. Or like a reflect in a way. I'm going to take the hit but not get stunned. And that is very important in this matchup, okay? Same thing goes with like Bucky stun or really anything else. There's not many stuns in these higher tiers, right? Maybe Wolverine's, pounce. But that's really it. If I'm fighting a Squirrel Girl, the moment I feel like I see that huge acorn over her head, I'm going to hold my charge till that. And then I'm going to charge, and hopefully she throws it into me and wastes it. Now, like I said, she still does have the ability to refresh her cooldowns, meaning it's still not easy. But if you can run through the acorn, ground her, and kill her quickly with a team or just a good combination, then you can take her out. But that ability to double stun you is crazy. Again, stuns and anything that disrupts the thing from disruption is super strong. Okay? It's very, very important that if you're fighting the thing, you need to stun him to kill him. If you're playing as the thing, you need to avoid stuns like the plague. Groot walls count kind of like stuns where they're just not allowed to get away. Bucky hook, Squirrel Girl acorns, any of that will demolish you. Next, now this one looks weird. It's even probably worse than Squirrel Girl, and probably even sometimes worse than Black Widow. Iron Fist. Why is Iron Fist here? It is because one simple reason. His buffs have made him a diet Wolverine. Now, like I said, you can't really fight Wolverine on a one-on-one. If Wolverine fights you with all his cooldowns off, and you fight him with all your cooldowns off, it's going to be a pretty gnarly fight, especially with that second health bar. Now, Iron Fist does have the ability to heal himself up to about 450, meaning he's got some really tanky hits. He's also have the ability to block and gain more shield, and he's got really good mobility. Yes, he's going to be more in your face. This is why I think he's at the bottom. He doesn't have any stuns or anything crazy movement like Bucky, Star-Lord, or Squirrel Girl. And he doesn't have the ability to hit you from far away or just clean you up like Wolverine or any of the higher tier characters. But he's still an issue. You've got to be aware of especially cheaper Town Hall. If Iron Fist decides to lock in on you, he can make your life pretty annoying. I would say, I don't know if some days I'd put him on annoying to deal with or soft counter, but of course there are people who are just trash. They sell at any character they play, and they make Iron Fist look like it's an easy ult battery. But there are good Iron Fists out there who can clean you up. There's not a lot you can do. You can try to ground him, but he still has the ability to block, and he goes into those super fast punches, and he can still kill you pretty fast. Not as fast as Wolverine, but still pretty fast, and you gotta be aware. Next, we have annoying to deal with. Namor. It's only because of the squids. Namor is never, ever really gonna be very close to you. His squids can be put basically anywhere. There are so many times where I'm playing as the Thing and I just ban Namor or Luna just to not have to deal with the frozen squid. The frozen squid is so annoying and so devastating. It slows you down so much. Namor is such a pain to deal with as the Thing. Now, the good thing, and the only reason he's not a soft counter, is because the moment you get to him, the moment you finally rip those squids to pieces and face-to-face Namor, there's almost nothing he can do. He can fly away and become invincible for a few seconds, but you just gotta wait for him to come back down and fracture that skull of his. Alright? I've played against a lot of Namors, especially in the Grandmaster ranks. Seems like everybody has a pocket Namor. And while he's really annoying to deal with, the whole journey of getting to him is the hardest part. But once you're face to face with him, you can clean up that calamari like it's nothing. You might as well just put in that, that video of Loki getting beaten half to death by Hulk. It's so easy. Next, Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight is a very interesting case. Moon Knight always tends to be higher up or very far away. He's kind of like a sniper in a way. So you got to think of it like that. He does really high damage. He's really good at crowd control. But he's kind of easy to kill. Let me explain why. So, if you do finally get to him, he does have the ability, if he gets knocked up, to instantly double jump and fly away. That's something important you have to remember. If you hit him, you should jump and ground if possible, or like wait for him to double jump away. That's something that I've seen a lot when I'm playing the thing. I rush in, I knock Moon Knight up, and I don't just drop it in front of him. So what I mean is this. If I'm fighting a Moon Knight, a lot of the times I'll hit him with the shoulder charge and then drop the grounded state. But because he gets knocked up in the air, he has the ability to spam double jump and fly away before the grounded state takes effect. Meaning, he doesn't lose, he's able to escape. But if you're fighting Moon Knight, the best thing I think you should do is run, and before you smack him up in the air with the charge, just hit the grounded state, and then he can no longer use his escape tools, which makes him a really easy kill. I think he's slightly less annoying to deal with than Namor, just because of Frozen Squid, and I think they should revert the Frozen Squid buff. That thing is so annoying to deal with, and if there's any time there's a good dive team, you just switch to Namor, Luna, and you just clean up the divers. It's easy. But Moon Knight, I feel like, does a little bit more damage, especially to crowds. So they're both annoying to deal with. Like I said, higher highs, lower lows. Once you finally get to these two, it's pretty easy to kill them. I would say the same thing goes with Namor. Don't knock him up in the air, because if there's a second between you knocking him up in the air and then slamming the ground, he's going to be able to use his invincibility or his movement option to make some space. Not a lot for Namor compared to Moon Knight, but still has the ability to do that. So for these two characters in particular, you should really, and I mean really, try to slam the ground before, not after. Anyways, hopefully that makes sense. I can go a little bit more in depth in a different video with Namor and Moon Knight, and kind of just the way you want to play them or the way you want to fight them. But last thing, one more time, just to repeat it, so everything can know, every player can know, if you are going to deal with Namor or Moon Knight as the thing, do not charge into them, slam the ground in front of them, or they're going to use their escape tool and run away, and it's going to make it so much harder to kill them. Next, most even, Punisher. Now, Punisher is really, really strong. He can kill you from a lot more ranges than you can kill him. But once you get up close and personal, there's not much the guy can do. He does have the smoke screen to kind of make some space, and he does have the whole, the zip line. But by the time you get up to him and you ground him, he's kind of just fodder. You do have to be aware of the shotgun, but from all my time playing against the Punisher, the biggest thing you got to worry about is just his turret. His turret will rip you to shreds. You can kind of play around it, and try to like poke him out against a wall, because your punch goes about 10 meters. But just be careful. Let him run his turret out of ammo, or just do nothing. And then just run at him. There's not much he can do. He can try to hit you, but if you're sprinting at him, you have 200 bonus health, making you a 900 health tank. And then you can ground him and then just beat him up. By the time he can whip out his shotgun, start shooting you, you've probably already killed him, or he's really close. Be careful with his ultimate, of course, because his ultimate shreds you. But again, it's not that hard. I feel like for some reason I don't see a lot of good Punishers around. So maybe if there's a better Punisher out there, he can go too annoying to deal with. But he's just Namor and Moon Knight without the annoying bits. Hey, what's up guys? Fireball Jack here. So, this is going to be a quick fix. So, real quick. So, if I most likely put this right after I said, or right before, but regardless, after playing more and more against Punisher and Punisher, I think most likely I was just going against some really bad Punishers or something. But I would actually move Punisher from mostly even to all the way up to a soft counter or maybe even a counter picking you. I still think I've gotten a lot of really not great Punishers in my games who just kind of die very easily. But now after playing some time, seeing more, and just taking a little bit more time to think about it and try to really get my brain around it, I would actually want to move up Punisher from mostly even to soft counter. I would probably put them right behind Star-Lord, if they're decent. And I would probably put them to right in front of Wolverine if they're really good. Like, I have met a handful of Punishers now that have changed that idea. So he goes from mostly even all the way up to soft counter, so in the middle, or up into counter picking you. Easy to deal with. Now, I know this is a very long video. There's a lot of DPS characters, and I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of things you need to do. Hopefully this makes sense. Magik. Now, I feel like the Magik duel is almost easy or probably even more even. The reason why, Magik deals a lot of damage. A lot of damage. And that is coming from someone who does not play Magik. I do not know the combinations. I do not know the tech. But I know for a fact that Magik can deal good amount of damage and keep up with the brawl. I would consider her one of the very few characters who can really brawl in this game. You just got to be worried about her. Now, the good thing is, if you do ground her, she does lose a lot of her things. She does not have the ability to become invincible for a second. She just loses aspects of her character and her kit. That's why I put her in the easier to deal with. Now, in this easy to deal with category, you're going to see a very sharp decline. I still feel like Magik can beat the Thing. Now, the Thing can easily beat Magik. You have a higher health pool. You tend to deal slightly more damage if you really play your cards right as the Thing. And because Magik tends to be more going for the backline instead of always brawling, you can kind of double team her with a support or another DPS if you jump to them. But as long as you ground her, you've got a good chance of killing her. But still be careful. Magik can still rip you up. That demon does a lot of damage still. Her slashes and the ability to gain health is still really annoying to deal with as the Thing. And you just gotta be aware. Out of all these easy to deal with characters, Magik can still fight you and still win. Okay? It's hard for her. She's on the back foot, but she can still win. Especially if she starts throwing those combos in there. I've seen some really good Magiks do some crazy work. But I still feel like as the Thing, as long as you run into her, you fully knock her up in the air and slam the ground, there's not much she can do. She's going to be scrambling a little bit, which is what you need to win that fight. Psylock. Now, Psylock does massive, massive, massive damage. You've got to be aware because those headshots will rip you to shreds like it's nothing. But she doesn't have the ability to brawl like Magik, and that's why I put her down here. She does have the ability to run away with invisibility, and those dashes are annoying. But if you get the drop on Psylock and are able to ground her, she's an open target to just not beat up. Yes, she'll probably be able to escape, but you are dampering so much of her kit because she's always a backline killer. And if you always think to yourself, as a tank player, why am I not getting healed? And look around real quick and see that your supports are getting bullied by a Psylock, and you jump and just get in front, Psylock has to immediately disengage because that easy one-on-one has become a really annoying 2v1. I've seen so many times where Psylock is going to go pick off one of my supports. I jump to my support or whoever she's going to pick off, and she immediately has to disengage or worry about getting grounded and then getting killed. That's why. Now, we're still in the easy to deal with, but that's the higher spectrum, okay? These two characters can still really do some numbers, especially if you're not paying attention, okay? There is still the possibility for these two, Magik and Psylock, to fight back. Mr. Fantastic really doesn't. Now we're dipping low, okay? We're going to like the really easy to deal with type of stuff. The only thing Mr. Fantastic can do is attack you sooner, which doesn't do that much. He can't bounce you away because of the thing's immunity, and become invincible and really big. Now, when Mr. Fantastic is really big, he's kind of an ult battery for the thing, and I kind of love that. Whenever I see a Mr. Fantastic fully enlarged to his big form, I just start getting ready. I immediately start to box him. Now, you got to realize, when he's in his big form, he does deal some pretty damn good damage. But as the thing, you should have the health bar and the ability to outlast him, because he only has about 5 seconds in that state, and it's harder to keep that state going forever. Now, if you ever get a Mr. Fantastic on the ropes, be careful, because he's going to use his invincibility. Just wait him out. There's not much Mr. Fantastic can do. Hitting him, I believe, does not give you any ult charge, so it's just a waste. Don't let him have the ability to absorb any damage and then shoot it back at someone or yourself. Just wait for him to finish. Heck, if you even want to, ground him while he's doing that, because while he won't take the hit, he'll still be grounded, and he won't be able to walk or grab to a teammate, which is really strong. Now we're going to really, really low. And the only reason Spider-Man and Black Panther are not in the tomato can list are for a few reasons. Let me explain. I think Spider-Man is better than Black Panther in this matchup, because Spider-Man has the ability to swing away, which is really important, right? He's never really grounded, unlike Black Panther. And he has the ability to stun the thing. It's about a 6-second cooldown, but the ability to stun the thing is still very strong. And I think that Spider-Man's ult is better than Mr. Fantastic's ult and Black Panther's ult. The ability to stun the thing is very strong. And even though, yes, Spider-Man will get completely clobbered if he picks a fight with you, I have seen this one guy, a shout out to the Rage Bait Spider-Man. I've never fought against him, but I've seen what he does, and I see the vision. If Spider-Man just keeps annoying you, and just every 6 seconds, stun you for a second, stun you for a second, stun you for a second, it gets on your nerves. And then you can't fight back or anything. You can't do anything. Spider-Man can literally drive by, do a good chunk, not a lot of damage, just a little good chunk, a little dent on you, and fly out. And unless you want to waste a cooldown of grounding him, there's not much you can do. He's in the air most of the time. You're not going to be able to do much. He doesn't do a lot to you, but you don't do a lot to him. But he's still really easy to deal with. If Spider-Man decides it's time to take out one of your supports, and you just jump to that support, Spider-Man is already not a good character in this game. He will get completely demolished if he decides to fight you. But the ability to stun you is still very important, and I want to make that clear. If you're playing Spider-Man, don't. Especially against the Thing, please don't. Stun him. If a Spider-Man is on your team and making use and kind of with communication, telling, hey, I'm going to stun this tank real quick, It's effectively very strong. I've seen some games where I have a Spider-Man on my team, and I was worried, and there's a thing on the other team, and the Spider-Man's like, I want you to push up the moment I say go. He stuns the thing, because he can't pull him to him, but the thing gets stuck in, like, the stun state of being webbed up, and then I can just bully the thing. I can just push forward, or my damage dealers push up and just take out the thing, or at least make him back off, which is really important. It makes the thing not engage. The more thing engages against the enemy team, the stronger and the more impact he does. But having him on that 6-second cooldown of just to stun you, stun you, stun you, it's annoying. It's not the most effective thing to do as Spider-Man, but it's really the only thing you can do. Black Panther. Now, Black Panther does more damage, but he's a grounded character, meaning he kind of dies the moment thing realizes it. This is where we take a really sharp turn, okay? If Magik and Psylock are at the top of the hill of easy to deal with, and you should still be worried, we are, and Mr. Fantastic is at the middle, we're at the cabin. We're down here at the mountain, okay? Black Panther and Spider-Man just do not work. They are dive characters, and the thing is an anti-dive tank. He is a bodyguard, and I have seen so many times, unless the Black Panther is godlike and can kill your supports before you notice, it's over. Pack it up as Black Panther. You need to just, you have to pick your fights so advanced with time that it almost doesn't matter. If the thing decides, hey, we have another tank, I'm not going to be very forward, I'm not going to be the one making tons of disruption, I just want to babysit my DPS and my supports, good luck getting a kill. You're going to jump in, you're going to start doing your tickle monster combo, immediately the thing is going to jump, put a resistance on your target, and then ground you because you're going to zip by or anything. And it's over. I have seen so many Black Panthers, and unless they are godlike, they get absolutely clobbered. The only reason he is not in the tomato can is because at least he moves fast enough. I have seen Spider-Mans and Black Panthers able to pull games still, because their high skill ceiling means that there's somebody out there who can do it. They're the only reasons why. Now, I know that's not very fair, but I have seen Spider-Mans, I have seen Black Panthers be able to play this character while I'm playing the thing and still put up decent numbers. That's the only reason they're not in the tomato can. And finally, end off this really long video, we have the tomato can. It's Wanda. Yes, even after the buffs, it's Wanda. It's so hard to play Wanda in this game, especially at the higher elos. Yes, you have a really good team up with Magneto, but it's still Wanda. There's not much you can do in this scenario. You have to be kind of close. You can still be far away from the thing in this scenario, but there's not much you can do. The moment I notice a Wanda, it's like a tickle monster. Okay, she's going to start sapping my health. The only time I'm ever worried about a Wanda is if she's in the mix with 3 other people shooting at me. But then I'm not worried about the Wanda. I'm worried about everyone shooting at me. You can just charge the Wanda, and she has to use her abilities to get away. Wanda's really good at escaping, but she's getting no value. Her ult, unless you are so coordinated with your team, or do some really wacky hijinks of like a Magneto bubble or a Doctor Strange portal where you use the ultimate and do the whole voice line and then shift into the portal at the end, Wanda just doesn't do a lot. Her stun is slow, and it doesn't really matter. If you ground her, she's basically dead. Wanda, I think, needs some type of rework or something. I don't know. I don't know what it would do. The only thing she can really do is throw her right click at you a ton. But that's free ult charge for your supports. You're just not doing anything. Again, if Wanda's ult was really, really good and didn't take 5 years to start, Maybe. I just haven't seen any Wandas be able to pull off a Wanda clip. I see a Wanda on the enemy team, and I just realize, okay, thankfully, I don't have to deal with a Hela, Hawkeye, Wolverine, Iron Man, Storm, Johnny, Black Widow, what is it? Winter Soldier, Star-Lord, Squirrel Girl, Iron Fist, Namor, Moon Knight, Punisher, Magik, Psylock. Hell, I don't even have to deal with the stupid invincibility and the constant, like, extra health Mr. Fantastic gives, or the annoying constant getting stunned by Spider-Man, or even just the really godlike Black Panther that kills my team in 3 seconds. If I see a Wanda, I don't have to worry about any other characters on this list. So many times I've seen someone try to play Wanda, and unless they're super coordinated, they don't get much done. And even when they are coordinated, it's Wanda. I have yet to see a really good Wanda, and I want to see a good Wanda, because I don't like having tomato cans in my list. I feel like really, it sucks having a character that's so bad that it hurts. But even someone like Black Widow, she can at least be halfway across the map, shooting you. You can only be about 20 meters away from the thing, and that doesn't matter, because if he decides to charge you, or just start to make the difference and running up to you, what are you going to do? You're going to fight back? I mean, maybe, but you're going to have to constantly run away, and you're just not doing anything. If you're going to play any character, only play Wanda when you have Magneto. But even then, I still don't see it. If you have a Magneto, just play Hela, play Hawkeye, play Wolverine. Hell, the Flyers are even better. Anyone is better. Maybe Black Widow, because Black Widow is not very good in this game at the moment. But when it comes to you, the Thing, versus these characters, this is how I think the list would go. I really think that Wanda just does not stack up. If you see a Wanda, that's a free kill. You don't got to worry about her outboxing you, out-damaging you, running away. The best thing she can do is run away. That's it. You don't have to keep track of any stuns. You don't have to keep track of squids or long range. She is a medium range character who doesn't have to aim, thankfully. That's the only good part. Who has really good escape tools. Well, not even really good. Just an escape tool that's annoying. And that's it. That's all. Right? You want to play a damaging character with a good escape tool? Play Psylock. She does more damage at basically the same range and has a better escape tool with the invisibility and the dashes. Oh, you want to play someone who doesn't aim? Play Namor or Moon Knight. Anything Wanda can do, every character on this list can do better. Her stun, her little chaos control, is still worse than Spider-Man's. There's only one point where I've seen the Wanda stun work, and that is in a choke point, where she throws it out, and it doesn't matter on defense or offense. She just throws it out there, and now it's harder to get through. But that's it. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, I know this is a little bit of a long one, but I have a lot of opinions on these characters. Hopefully I went in depth for why they're counterpicking you or why they're a tomato can, and kind of things you can do against it. Again, this is really hard. It's not like this list is built on a 1v1 factor. This list is based on what I've seen and how these characters tend to play. If you have any questions, or you feel like I didn't really explain a character enough, or anything along those lines, please let me know, and I will gladly make a small dedicated video for that specific character, or maybe for a specific tier, or whatever it might be. And hopefully you learn something, as either as a Thing player who wants to get better at the game and kind of look out for, okay, I'm making enough of an impact that people need to start swapping to other characters, right? or as any other player, thinking, okay, there's a thing on the enemy team. What can I do? What can I switch to? What is my best option in this scenario for both sides? But anyways, take care, guys. Hopefully I see you in the next video. We're going to do supports next. It's going to be a lot shorter than this video. But there'll be a surprise in the next video where it's going to be slightly different. Now, if you did watch my overall tier list, you know what that is. But hopefully you join me next time, because I'll go into a little bit more in depth and kind of go into the whole strategies of these characters. Anyways, take care, guys. See you later. Bye.